Okay, in this video we're going to check for voltage on a Von Duprin PS873. This is a power supply that we have. We're going to send it to a client, and what we want to be sure is that it works before it leaves here. We don't like customers calling us saying the power supply doesn't work. So there are times when I check these before they're shipped. This power supply has a screw that generally is holding the lid closed, so we're going to remove that. Alright, so this is a PS873 with an 871-2 expansion board right here. Okay, so I'm going, well, we can leave that in. That does not matter. So the first thing we have to do is we actually have to connect this to incoming voltage. So I'm going to connect it to incoming voltage. I have a cable that I use for that specific purpose. What we're doing here is actually a bit dangerous in the sense that my cable has neutral, hot, and ground. Okay? And what's dangerous about that is if you're not tying off the ground, you will short. Bear with me one moment. Yeah. So what's interesting is I've noticed this before. The neutral wire in AC is going to be the white wire. The hot wire, which is used for power, is considered hot. And what's interesting about that is their installation instructions here show hot as the top wire, and then neutral, and then I can't see what that says. Earth ground. But what's interesting is where the hot wire is, they have the white color wire. Now, ultimately the color of the wires don't matter, but this is AC coming in, so to me it's a bit unusual to have it that way. And because it's AC alternating voltage, you know, the wires this way or this way, polarity is not going to matter. But nonetheless, I might look at that and say, oh, it's a white wire, that's the neutral wire. It's not. So I'm going to connect my power wires here. Actually, what I'm first going to do is put a wire cap over my ground, because I'm not going to connect that to just test for voltage. We've got one a little bit larger that may work. Yeah, not really. It's no good. Here we go. I don't remember the size that the red cap is going to be compatible with, but it will be large enough so we can safely tuck our earth ground into a wire cap so that we don't accidentally touch it on anything. Alright, so let's get to connecting this material. I'm going to actually just remove both of these wires and simply wire in what we're getting up to here. Yeah, let's do that. Let's wire this. If you've not hit subscribe yet, we would very much appreciate if you did, and hopefully you're enjoying this video. Now, let's get back to it. Okay, so let's get our wires connected. I'm gonna remove these feeder wires, connect my cable. So the hot wire goes up at the top. So we're just going to follow what we're doing here. Meaning we're going to follow the way that the instructions are indicated in terms of colors of wire. You know, just following industry standard conventions when it comes to wire color. Yeah, that's good. So we're not plugged in, so we've got, you know, we can safely work on this. There's no power coming to this. There are times when having smaller hands is advantageous. No shorting between these two. That's really important to establish that. Our DC output is here. You can see right there at the tip of my finger where it says output, DC output. Alright, so now I've got to plug that in. I'm going to be real mindful that my ground wire doesn't touch anything I don't want it to touch, or it will short. Meaning, you have the possibility to short this if you touch the circuit board. Alright, we're plugged in, and you should see that green light came on. Let's unplug it. and that green light went away. Now let's plug it back in. So obviously that's a good sign. But how we're going to actually know, of course, is by using a voltmeter or a multimeter. Okay, so that's what we're going to use. Okay, that's good. Turn my multimeter on, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to set it to DC voltage. The straight line, that's AC voltage, a little squiggly line. I'm expecting to see 24 volts. Well, actually, it's jumpered over here to 24 volts. So that's where the jumper is, not on 12 volts. So that's what I'm expecting to see. So I'm going to turn it to the next higher value, which is 200 on this multimeter. I'm going to turn it on. Okay, we're getting 0. That's good. I'm going to touch the probes down to these terminals. And you can see that I get a negative 24.3. All right, well, that's interesting. What does negative mean? Well, it means that I have the terminals crossed. So obviously, where I have the red probe, this is positive. So this is clearly the negative terminal here, and I know that because when I put the black probe on the other terminal and the red probe here, now I'm getting a positive number, 24.3. That tells us two things. We're getting voltage, exactly what we're supposed to get, plus or minus 10% is normal, and that this terminal is the black terminal. So we've learned two things. We know that our power supply is good, and we now also know which terminal is that we're dealing with. Plus, it's also indicated underneath the lid. So I didn't need to look at the lid or the instruction manual to know what the terminal was. Your multimeter is going to tell you that. All right, let's wrap up this video on camera. If you've not hit subscribe yet, we would very much appreciate if you did, and hopefully you're enjoying this video. Now, let's get back to it. And that's how you check for voltage on that PS873. Every other manufacturer of power supplies, at least ones that I'm somewhat familiar with, it's going to be the same procedure. I would absolutely always check for voltage once you get the power supply installed before you proceeded to wire everything, so at least you know after it's all done and something doesn't work, you know where you were good at. You were good right at the power supply. Any questions on this or any other Von Duprin item, please feel free to reach out to us. Thank you. Thank you for watching, and if you've enjoyed this video, please click thumbs up, please subscribe, and maybe even send the video to someone that you know. Thank you.